Malcolm Gladwell's book, The Tipping Point, he talks a lot about this. Every industry has that tipping point where it flips. And Ricky mentioned beforehand, there's a thing going on, and I'll finish with this, then we'll go and look in the members area. But in January, so next month, we're having what are known as the Bitcoin spot ETFs. It looks like they're going to be approved. I shouldn't say for sure. It's possible they may not, but it's 99% sure that they are. Now, don't be kind of glazed over by how dull that may sound. Some here may know what that is, some here may have no idea, but essentially the headline is this is a huge deal. Huge deal, because the Bitcoin spot ETFs, they have to be approved by the Security and Exchanges Commission, run by Gary Gensler. But essentially, when they are approved, it means that individuals can have access to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies without having to physically go and buy it themselves at an exchange or get a MetaMask. They can just invest in this fund, and that fund invests in Bitcoin. And what this means is it's expected that over the next couple of years, trillions, literally with a T, of new finance that's currently standing on the sidelines from institutions, from hedge funds, from pension funds that are waiting to invest in this space because there's so much demand, will now come on board because these Bitcoin spot ETFs give easy access. It's expected that BlackRock, by the way, are the biggest hedge fund manager in the world. They look after $17 trillion worth of their customers' funds. Now, of course, they're not going to put 17 trillion into crypto market. I mean, the crypto market is only 1.7 trillion, period. But imagine they put 1% in, just 1%. That's enough, incidentally, to buy all the Bitcoin that's available on exchanges outright. Just like that, there would literally be no more Bitcoin available to be bought. So you can imagine what that will do for the price, not only of Bitcoin, but the whole of the market. And so therefore, us being in this space, it's such a great place to be. So anyway, all that said, just want to say we're in a great, great spot. Why don't we, Ricky, should I share my screen? Would that be, do you want to jump in and say something?
I just want to say, some people are just arrived late. Please, if you're coming in, please mute yourself for now. And if you have questions, we're going to open up the line. We're going to do a Q&A. Chris, I really just pressed the record button now, like maybe 5 minutes ago. So if we miss a little bit on the replay, you didn't really miss much. We're getting started in the meet right now. So if you're seeing this right now, we just went over a little introduction of what we're going to go through, and you're right here, right now. So Chris, let me give you the host. All right. So let me go.
Of course. And Tamar, thank you for saying, I've got a lovely comment from Tamar saying, thank you for explaining the significance of the ETFs. Tamar, I'm pleased you said that, because I do feel one of the challenges with this industry, particularly if you follow people on YouTube, most people will talk about something and they will assume that it's common knowledge. And often there's a bit of an ego there. People will say, because it makes them feel smart in the moment, they'll say something like, well, of course, the Bitcoin spot ETF. And what happens is, through pack mentality, most people they don't want to put up their hand and say, I don't know what that is, because they feel as if everybody else knows it. The reality is nobody knows this. This is still new to all of us. I'm still learning every day. And that's why I just like to kind of share what we are. There's an acronym, WAGME. We're all going to make it, but we're all in this together. We're all in this together. So thank you, Tamar, for you saying absolutely here.
All right, so I made you the host, Chris. So then you could just get
thanks, buddy. Thank you.
And then share. I'm going to mute myself and turn my camera off so we can just pay attention. And you call me in, I'll come back in. Okay.
All right, buddy. Well, feel free to interrupt any time. I'm just going to quickly...
Okay, so I'll stop my video for now. And then, because what happens with the meetings, Chris, is that basically if I start talking, it goes to my screen. It'll stop your screen in the meeting. It doesn't really matter, guys. Just pay attention.
Screen. Okay. Oh, here we go. I can share my screen. There we go.
You got to do share, and there we go. All right, cool.
You should be able to see my screen now. Is that correct?
Yeah, your screen looks good. Yep, looks really
perfect. So, chaps, I just want to quickly go through a few things in this call, and then we can have some questions in no particular order. Let me just quickly say again, I'm absolutely thrilled that you have come on board. I've got to know quite a few here, and if I haven't yet actually met you, it's very nice to see you here. As you may well know by now, particularly if you've just come on board, one thing I'm really big on is being very step by step. And so if you haven't yet gone through the content, it really could not be more step by step. You log in, you can see the categories here. The first one is start here. Simply literally click on start here, and it literally talks you through, watch this first, the refund, the money back guarantee, etc., etc., etc. So I'm not going to go through all of this right now, but everything is step by step within the members area at DeFi Profits Made Simple. Now, let's just quickly remind ourselves so we're all on the same page here. You know, what exactly is futures? Futures is a high interest savings account in decentralized finance. What is decentralized finance? Decentralized finance is the term given to the fact that we can all now access financial services that we would normally have gone to a bank for, like an interest account, like loans, like savings, but we don't need to go to Chase or Bank of America or HSBC. We can do it all on the blockchain. And Elephant Money is essentially an online bank. So if you think of Elephant Money as the bank and futures as one of the products, that's the easiest way to look at it. There are other products that Elephant Money has, and we're not really needing to focus on those now. I mean, we can if you like as we go on, but you know, futures is more than enough. Anything that pays 0.5% a day sustainably, that's the key word, is, you know, you don't really need to do anything else ever, to be perfectly frank with you. So that's what futures is, a high interest savings account. And what I thought you might like to see as well is I'm going to, well, we'll look at the calculator in a moment, but let me quickly show, I'm going to show you my Elephant Money. Can I ask in the chat, can you see, you should be able to see Elephant Money right now. If you'd be so kind just to punch into the chat, if you can see it, you should be able to see it. And let me quickly check here. If you could let me know in the chat, that would be great for me to know. Otherwise, yes, Janet says. Thank you, Janet.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, you can see it. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Ricky. So let me show you what we're looking at here. So I just clicked on futures at Elephant Money. Now, if you haven't deposited yet in futures yourself, I haven't got started, that's absolutely fine. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. I just want to sort of show you what we're looking at. And so this is my futures account right now. So what we're looking at here is as follows. You might be able to see here, it says my balance. So my balance is currently 50, just over $50,000. So I got 50,000 sitting in an account which is earning me now 0.5% a day. What's that? $200 a day. Or is that 250? Let me check. 50,000 times 0.5, 250. So it's earning me $250 a day. I've put in myself out of my pocket. I started in about April of this year. So since then, 6 months or so, I put in 29,000. So it's gone from 29 of my own money to 50. So I've made, you know, almost 21,000. So I'm getting close to having essentially doubled my money in, you know, 6 months or so, which is, you know, you wouldn't get that return anywhere else at all. And all I am doing is, as I teach, well, let me back up a little bit. The thing to do with futures, you don't have to. Futures is flexible, which means you can really do what you want. But ideally, and this is what we teach in DeFi Profits Made Simple, ideally, you want to have a two-prong attack. And the two-prong attack is as follows. Step one is you really want to, if you can, get comfortable with thinking, I'm just going to accumulate, whether it's for a year. For me, it's a year and a half, which will go very, very quickly. I'm not even thinking about pulling out any salary for, in my case, a year and a half. And we'll look at the calculator in a second, and we'll break this down. Once you get to a certain dollar amount in your balance, then we move on to step two, which is, okay, let's start to pull ourselves out of salary. But if you've been through the training, and you might not have got to the second module yet, where I talk about the strategy, and this, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, is why futures is so powerful, because when we do it right, and I am saying correctly what you're about to hear, because you might think that's not possible. When we do it right, our balance will continue to grow, and what we pull out every month will continue to grow as well. And you might be thinking, and I know I said this in the first presentation where you came on board, how is that even possible? Because if you think about a bank account, and you know, you think about your savings account in the bank, if you pull something out of your savings account, obviously your balance goes down. So how, therefore, can we pull out something from futures and the balance goes up? And the reason is, and of course I break all this down in the training, but the kind of the headline is, we need to, I keep talking about thinking differently, try and stop thinking about, you know, how much you might make per month or per year, like most people do. But instead, we want to start thinking about how much we make per day. And what I mean by that is, with, as you can see here, with the 50,000 balance that I've got, that's making me $250 a day. So therefore, if, and bear with me, if let's say for 10 days of each month, I took out that 250, so that'd be $2,500. That's 10 days worth of salary, let's call it. But then for the other 20 days, when I deposit some fresh funds, I would add 20 days worth of interest back to my balance. So I'm actually, if you like, doing a 2-to-1 strategy, a 2-to-1, let's call it deposit versus claim. I don't want to get in the weeds too much, but this is really why decentralized finance is powerful, because we can't do this with centralized finance. So again, it's allowing ourselves to think differently. Of course, all this is taught in the members area itself. And as we looked at, here is the members area. So if what I'm going through right now is not 100% clear, we do break it down as we jump into the actual passive income protocol training for Elephant Money itself. Now, I also want to, if I may, just quickly share with you the calculator. Can I also quickly mention, I'm also aware, we're on this live call right now. Everybody's going to be at different phases. Some possibly may not have even started, and that's fine. Some may have gone through all the content possibly. There's more and more content being added all the time. But one of the things I teach is we've had a calculator made for you that takes a little bit of a learning curve. It's going to take you about 3 or 4 hours to really go through it. And of course, this is what we break down in the training. One of the things we break down in the training. But the calculator will give you a very clear, if you like, what's the word, kind of overview, I guess, of the time scale and the amount of deposits that you can make into futures to achieve a certain goal. So let me show you what I mean. Now, again, can I also say, if you haven't yet seen any of the training on the calculator, and this is therefore the first time you're seeing it, please don't be overwhelmed. I obviously break all this down in the training. So this call that we're on right now is a bit more of an overview, and then we'll have some questions in a few moments' time. But let me just show you the calculator here. So again, if this is the first time you've seen it, don't be overwhelmed. I do break all this down. So I'm just going to go through this relatively quickly, just to give you an example of A, how much you can make, and B, by when. So with that said, just before this call, I thought I'd prepare something in advance. So imagine we're going to put in, I've written here $5,000. That's going to be my initial deposit. You don't have to, but you can if you like. So imagine $5,000. And I've spoken to quite a few of Ricky's wonderful community already. And I'm so impressed at what you are putting into this. It's so exciting. So let's say $5,000. Then let's say I'm going to have a monthly deposit of $200. And remember, I said there's 2 phases. The first phase is accumulation. Let's say I'm just going to do that until I get to, well, my balance goal here I've written is 40,000. It can be anything. You can change all of these figures. It could be 50, 60. Oops, not sure what happened there. Let's go back to my calculator. Here we go. So let's, to be clear, I'm going to put in 5,000 to start with. Then every month, I'm going to put in $200. And that's literally it. That is all I'm going to do until my balance gets to 40,000. Now, of course, in a bank, if you put in $200, that's going to take you, that's going to take you what, 50, 60 years or so to get to $40,000, just putting in $200 a month. But if we scroll down in the calculator, and again, if this is the first time you're seeing this, please don't be overwhelmed at all these metrics. I do break all this down, but this is what I want to show you here. So let's have a little look. So we're here in, or did I put today's date? Oops, sorry, the date. I haven't put today's date. So we're into December. So here we go. So let's scroll down, and so here's the invested column here on the left-hand side, showing how much we invested out of our own pocket. And remember, I said we're putting in 200 a month. So we started with an initial 5,000 deposit. Then at the end of December, 5,200. End of January, 5,400, etc., etc., etc. So that's going up by 200 a month. Note this, though. This is the balance. Look at your balance. Starts with 5,000, as we discussed. By next month, 5,950, 7,000, 8,297, 11. You can see the power of the 0.5% a day, plus the $200 that we've committed to every month that compounds that 0.5% a day. You can see quickly how much this is growing. You can see here how much increase this is making us daily. So we start with $25 a day here in December. It's already doubled by April next year. So again, we can see the power of decentralized finance. And remember, I said I wanted to get to a balance of 40,000. So our 40,000 balance is going to hit in, it's going to be basically a year. A year from now, we're going to hit the 40,000s, and we will have put in 7,800 of our own money. We'll have hit 40,000. And then after that, do you remember I was just saying, and again, I know I might be throwing a bit at you here, so let's wrap this bit up with this thought. Remember I was saying we want to, and I teach this, of course, in the training, we want to stop thinking about how most people think of their salary as a monthly salary or a yearly salary, but think of it as a daily salary. And then let's say we're going to take 10 days worth every month of salary as a salary. Then the other 20 days of the month, we will add back to our balance, which is why our balance can grow. And because our balance is growing, that means the next month, the 10 days worth of income that we're taking will also grow, because the 0.5% that it's based on, the balance has also grown. And so therefore, with that in mind, look at these figures here on the right-hand side here. This is in a year from now. You'd have put 8,000 in, just over a year. So end of January next year, 25, you put just over 8,000 in. Your balance will be 48,000. I mean, already that's incredible. And if that wasn't good enough, look, we're now pulling out 2,400 a month, 2,500, 2,006. And so it goes on and on and on, with our balance growing and growing and growing. And this is the power of decentralized finance at work. Two things. Firstly, this is why centralized banks are worried. Elon Musk tweeted about this. I shared it in the presentation. He says, this is why people are leaving centralized institutions. I read a thing that Chase in America have had 70 billion. I don't even know if that can be correct. Maybe it was 70 million. I'm not actually too sure, but it was 70 billion, I believe, unless I read it wrong, of customers' funds have left Chase because people are finally waking up, like you and I, that centralized banks, A, don't serve us, and B, talking about the financial crash that we talked about earlier, they caused the financial crash that ruined so many people's lives, wiped out their savings, wiped out their 401ks, wiped out their pensions. And what happened? The government bailed out. Who did they bail out? The government bailed out the banks that caused the trouble in the first place. They didn't bail out you or I that lost everything. No, they looked after the financial institutions that caused the mess, which is why, as I keep saying, decentralized finance emerged, because that was just wrong. And now we have an alternative. So, again, I don't want to get too much in the weeds here on this call. I just want you to know right now that what we're looking at here, obviously, is one of the many things that are taught here inside DeFi Profits Made Simple. And we jump into the calculator. I'm seeing a few comments saying, where is the calculator, Tamar? Hi, Tamar. It's actually, as soon as you get into the passive income training about elephant money, let me click on this. It's in here. We go through everything step by step. So it's in here, and everything is kind of delivered to naturally kind of build on from what we've just spoken about. Now, one other quick thing I want to quickly share with you as well, if I may, and I might even stop my sharing my screen for a second while I share this with you. And thank you very much for everyone's attention. If you have any questions, by the way, please feel free to post them in the chat. We'll do some questions, and I'll bring Ricky back in a moment as well.
Sure.
I've seen some really great specific questions as well. There is one thing I want to mention as well. And if you've joined the Facebook community that you are invited to, and all this again is explained in the members area, it's very, very step by step. If you join the Facebook community, you'll know that I'm in there literally every day for hours every day answering questions. We have live calls. It's a lot of fun. There is one thing I want to mention that's quite important. this whole space is continually, as of course we all know, continually evolving. We're still on the starting blocks. It's still new and it's still exciting. However, it's still a $1.7 trillion industry. I mean, that's huge. If it was billions, I wouldn't even have created this training because that's too small. It's still trillions, and we got institutions now getting involved, and regulation is being passed, and laws are being passed. You know, it's Congress are passing laws. It's terrific. As I mentioned, it's going to be a key staple of the presidential campaign next year. A president's stance on crypto. So, but my point is, things will, of course, as they do in any industry, whether in stocks and shares or real estate, things will continually change. Now, there is one thing I want to share with you that you're going to be hearing a lot more about probably over the next few weeks. As you may well know, depending on how far along you are in the training, futures works, we deposit BUSD, which is a stable coin, and we earn BUSD, which is a stable coin, which is great. Futures is going to be changing, where we are now not going to be depositing BUSD, a stable coin. Instead, we're going to be depositing BNB, which is essentially a cryptocurrency. Why is this change taking place? Well, a few reasons. Firstly, the SEC, the Security and Exchanges Commission in America, as we mentioned at the beginning of this call, they have not really been, it's quite ironic because they're the only place in the world that have been like this. They've not been particularly embracing of digital technology. And we all know why. It's because the lobbyists between Washington and Wall Street kind of want to keep things as they are because it serves, you know, old school elite banks. It works for them how the central financial institutions are. They kind of want to keep things as they are, and they've got the SEC. You know, it's all lobbyists. It's all paying money to they're saying, look, try and quash the growth of digital assets. So much so, incidentally, you might like to know that there is a bill being passed right now, or at least it's being read in Congress, called the Stabilization Act, if you want to Google it and do your research, to forcibly remove Gary Gensler, who is the head of the SEC, because they are saying this one man who is an unelected official, one man is single-handedly throttling the adoption of blockchain technology, only in America, though, only in America. In the rest of the world, China have opened up its arms to blockchain. Europe has here in England, but America is still dragging its feet a little bit. So the reason I'm saying all that is that the SEC have kind of gone after stable coins. They're saying that, oh, hang on. Basically, the SEC want to control stable coins. Now, what do the SEC do? The SEC, Security and Exchanges Commission, it's a very, important government regulatory body. They protect investors that invest in stocks and shares. In other words, securities. That's what a security is, a stock or a share. And they are the Security and Exchanges Commission. So they have a very worthy job. But the SEC are saying that they also should control cryptocurrency. That's exactly the opposite of what crypto is. Crypto is not supposed to be controlled. It's supposed to be borderless. It's supposed to be permissionless. It's not supposed to have one, in inverted commas, regulatory body that then can decide what can be done and what can't be done. That's the whole purpose of digital assets. And of course, the SEC don't like that because they don't have control. And it's wonderful for the rest of us because this is where everything is going. But the reason I'm saying this, and I'll kind of wrap this bit up with this, is the SEC therefore are coming after what are known as stable coins. Any cryptocurrency that is pegged to the price of the dollar, they are saying should be looked after by us. Hey, we should regulate stable coins, and everybody else in the world is saying no, you shouldn't. And incidentally, all the court cases that the SEC have fought to try and say that they should have control, they've lost every single one. So they'll probably lose this one as well. But at the moment, there is this battle going on, and so therefore cryptocurrencies that use stable coins are kind of moving away from using stable coins because they know it's just putting them under the spotlight a little bit more of the SEC. Personally, I think this will all change at the presidential election next year, particularly if we get a pro crypto administration in. But, let's not get political about it right now. But the point is that that BUSD, because it is a stable coin, is going to be not slowly, it will be removed as the token that we deposit into futures, and it's going to be replaced by BNB. Nothing changes. Nothing at all, other than the fact that the crypto we will deposit will be BNB. And brutally, transparently, and truthfully being with you, as I always will be, I'm so pleased about this because for some, maybe you've had this yourself. The only challenge with futures for some has been, ironically, purchasing BUSD because of this whole thing with the SEC putting it under the spotlight. If we remove the fact that BUSD has to be purchased in order to deposit, which is happening, and we replace it with a cryptocurrency like BNB that can pretty much be bought anywhere, oh my goodness, it makes it so much easier for anybody to onboard if you are having to have challenges. Some people haven't had any challenges at all. Some people have. I'm so excited that BNB is going to be the token that we're going to
I
deposit in. The only pain is, for me personally, means I'm probably going to have to remake a lot of the content because, you know, when I say BUSD, it's now BNB. But I just want you to know, because I know none of us like change, particularly when I know you're relatively new to this. If we're learning something and you're seeing me talk about, you know, purchasing BUSD, and that's what we deposit into futures, it is quite possible in a few weeks' time, the cryptocurrency will change. Nothing else changes. Let me be
yeah.
absolutely clear about that. It's still 0.5% on the dollar value of your futures, and you will just earn 0.5%, but you will earn it in BNB. Now, you could argue, well, hang on, couldn't the price of BNB go down if I earn it that? Well, technically, yes, it could, but I've got two things to say to that. Whatever you earn in BNB, if you wanted to cash out, you could swap that instantly for a stable coin if you wanted to. That's not an issue. But of course, BNB could also go dramatically up. And it looks like, and I'd love to get Ricky's take on this in a moment, where we're going with the bull market next year, that the whole of the market is, they say that
Yeah.
this time it's going to be different. And they say that we're looking forward to, with the Bitcoin halving and the ETFs and regulation and so many other factors that are coming, I think we're going to really have a face melting 2024. Without wanting to sound like I'm smoking, you know, endless hopium, what I would say, and it's always good to, you know, keep our emotions at bay. What I would say is let's not get carried away, even if things do go crazy, which I think they will. Every market is cyclical. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, whether you're in real estate or stocks and shares or silver or gold or precious metals, every market is cyclical. What I mean by that is we will have another bear market. Crypto markets will eventually fall. But what I think is going to happen, and I always thought that the bull market will kick off in Q4 2023, which is where we are now. I think we're going to last for all of 2024. And I think by about September 2025, we might flip and we might start to have the bear market. So as long as you go into this thinking, okay, maybe we got like 18, 19, 2 years to, you know, do really well, take out some profits, keep accumulating as well. Then I think we will all do very, very well. Anyway, I'm very conscious that I don't want to talk at you. Ricky, what are your thoughts about the bull market for next year?
Well,
Where is your head at?
this is my thoughts because I follow a lot of very you know, technical analyst guys on crypto, and I want to just show some people some things that some people that could follow that I follow, and they're very very brilliant people, and they really got the market cornered. One of the guys actually was very good friends with. His name is Alex Becker, and you can find him on
Oh,
YouTube.
I
I'll
know,
show you
yeah.
where. You know Alex, right? Yeah. So
Hmm.
Alex, he's made millions in crypto, and he made a partnership with this guy Elio. He goes on the Elio trades.
Elo
He has
trades, yeah.
about yeah, Elio Trades. He has something called Superburst, and they're really heavily invested in the gaming sector of crypto. But they know what they're doing. They got their I's dotted and their T's crossed. And I've been following him for almost 2 years now, and I've been following Dallas Becker since the beginning. He got back into crypto, and he made a lot of money. It taught me a lot. I know, Chris. I spoke at his event in 2016
Wow.
in the Mandalay Bay in Vegas. We had 1,000 people in the room. I was teaching a webinar strategy. It was a really good experience. So I know Becker since 2011 when he first started, and basically, you know, now he's blown up, and I'm so proud of the kid. However, I want to give you some
Wow.
guys, you know, to look at and to follow, as well as I want to show you something that you should be aware of too, some things that I've learned. So, Chris, if I could take back the host quick.
Of course.
All right, let me take back the host. Let me see if I
Have
can.
you done that?
Let me see if I can reclaim. How do I reclaim the host? No. Let me
That's good.
reclaim myself. I'm reclaiming myself. All right, hold on. All right, I got it. I think I'm the
You've
host
done it.
now.
Perfect.
All right, let me share my screen. All right. You
I
should
have
see
seen some
my
great
screen
questions
now.
as well. So we'll come to the questions in a couple of moments.
All right, I'm gonna put the questions on my monitor over here. All right, got all these. I got my text set up. All right, guys. So let me move this here. So what you should be seeing is a site you should bookmark. It's called Coin Market Cap. Everybody know what Coin Market Cap is? I mean, if you don't, it's a website that basically shows you a crystal ball over the market and what they're actually doing. It'll show you the fear and greed index. So right now, okay, extreme greed, meaning that people are spending, 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 spending. Okay, with fear means that the market's dipping. That's usually the time you want to start getting in. Over here, you're not late though. You're not late. All right. So look where BNB is. It's the fourth top cryptocurrency overall, the whole market. So it's not going nowhere. And right now it's sitting at $246. So let's click into BNB. And what I like about it turning into BNB is that it's easier to get BNB. It's a pain in the ass to go from.
Ricky. Totally agree.
It's so much easier. I mean, not for nothing. Like so like what I had to do live on the Q&A, Chris, is I had to convert Tether over to BUSD because for some reason in MetaMask I couldn't buy direct BNB on the Binance chain. So you got to understand something about crypto. It's all different chains. Binance is its own chain. Ethereum is its own chain. AVAX is its own chain. And then they have bridges. Like you can get Binance on the Ethereum chain. Okay, you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you're on the Binance chain. So if you're in MetaMask, okay, like just something over here. This is one of my BNB's accounts.
If I can, Ricky, just very quickly, if you'll allow me 2 seconds, can I just quickly interject and say, if you're not too sure exactly what Ricky might be mentioning, all this is covered in DeFi Profit. So please don't feel like slightly like, gosh, you know what? I understand it can be a bit overwhelming, but everything that we're
everything's covered here.
Yeah,
I've been going through this, okay, and let me tell you something. Chris does an excellent job at teaching over here, and the videos are not like a half hour each. Okay, so like you can get through this in a good hour on some change, okay, and go through a whole section and start implementing. So you really want to take some time and do that. All right, so I'll go through that in a minute. Well, let me go back over here. So if we look at one day, you're gonna get trading dips. All right, these are just dips as the market trades heavily. You know, as you can see, $33, okay, 240, right? It pops up over here. But let's go to a year. All right, as you can see, okay, BNB was at 284. It dipped around June, all right, and it's still staying pretty consistent in a year, a whole year. Okay, maybe it dipped over here a little bit down to 200, but it's not like plummeting. So you don't have to worry about your BNB like just plummeting and plummeting and plummeting. All right, it's going to go up, and I'll show you what I mean. So if we go to all, okay, when it started, it was at $2. All right, and this is back in December of 17, and at 21, it just catapulted $631. Imagine you got in right over here, okay, at $19. You would have what, 1,000 extra money maybe, or I don't even know how to do the math on it. But you want to like start looking at the charts and understanding where things are going. All right. So Alex Becker taught me a really good strategy into looking at these caps. All right. So I want to just pull out a whiteboard quick. Let me go pull out a web whiteboard. I'm gonna move this over here. Give me a second. Wait for this to load. Hey Chris, my screen looks good. I'm good.
Yep, can see the whiteboard.
All right, awesome. Let me just get the whiteboard up. All right, so let me just go like this. All right, so basically, he calls it the family kind of structure, right? So you have something called the grandfather. All right, so this is the grandfather, and then you got, and this could be in a particular category. Then you got something called, say the dad. All right. That's what they say, dad. All right, I don't have my mouse, so dad. Then you have the son. All right, and then you got the baby. Now, what's particular about this strategy is you can implement this in any crypto category. So grandfathers being the big caps. This is the $1 billion cap. So if you go over here and you look at like BTCs, billions and billions of dollars, Ethereum, billions of dollars, Tether, billions of dollars, BNB, billions of dollars. Those are the large, extreme caps. All right. So what happens is, let me admit this person in. Okay, so what happens is that the money flows into the grandfathers, all right? And then particularly they start flowing in. Please mute yourself. I'm gonna mute. Yeah, when you come into the room, please mute yourself. We're just running a meeting here. So what happens is that it goes down to where we have, mid caps, and I'll show you what mid caps are. And that's the dad. So you have the large big caps, you got mid caps, and then you have the micro caps. Okay, so the micro caps being like, I'll show you that in a minute. And then you have the baby caps, which is actually, the smallest. They're just launching type of pump and dump coins, maybe meme coins that are just pumping or whatever like that. So what I'm saying here is that the money will trickle here first. And as the charts go up and people make money, they take their profits and then they go into the mid caps. Then they take their profits and they go into the micro caps. Then they take those profits and they go to the super risky caps. Okay, the ones that are just starting up, because you'll find a son that's moving, all right, in a particular category, all right, and then guess what? They're gonna find a baby that's growing right now, and that's where you start to get in at the bottom, and the baby starts to become a son, then it becomes a dad, then it becomes a grandfather, which most of them don't even reach this stage. But as it becomes, like, say, a son, all right, this is where you got in, and you can do a healthy 100x, 200x gain right there. But you have to understand the strategy. Crypto is all about strategy. So just to further iterate what Chris is saying, BNB is going nowhere. I'm actually happy that they're turning to BNB. It's easier to get.
Totally.
100%. Yeah, exactly. Easier to get, easier to trade, easier to swap into other, into coins. And you want, and we use tools like Pancake Swap. Like over here, it's called Pancake Swap. And Chris goes through this in the course where you connect your wallet and then you can connect your wallets and then basically you could do swaps here. Say I have my BNB and I want to swap it over for Tether. I can do that. So I can basically, this is a stable coin called USDT. So I can swap any BNB that I get from Elephant.money in the futures and I can swap it to a stable coin. And that could be sent to an exchange and turned into fiat, which is physical money. There is even exchanges that give you debit cards. Okay. So you got, I got a debit card from crypto.com. So I can literally just put my money directly in crypto.com and use a card. Okay, to get it out. I can pull out ATMs, I could buy gas with it, I could do whatever I want with that, as long as the funds that you feed that wallet. So you could literally take your salary in BNB, swap it to Tether, okay, or swap it to even BTC or whatever, move it over into crypto.com and just leave it there and spend from there. I mean, it's up to you how you want to do this. There's many ways to slice the bread. So answer what Chris's question is about. You see this bull market. I think we're in a pre-bull market, and I'll tell you why. All right, so let's go over the Bitcoin, and let's go in 7 days. Okay, you can see this fluctuating. Okay, this 44, see 43, 44, 43, 44. Okay, it's hitting resistance. It's not breaking. Okay, it's not breaking. And as you can see, it dipped down. Boom, 42. Okay, 42. This is buying sell trades on the exchanges, pushing up, pushing down. So this is strong, this is strong sellers. This is, over here would have been strong buyers, all right? So we're in a pre-bull right here. As you can see over here on the 8th, which was a couple of days ago, it hit almost $45,000, which was pretty amazing. I thought if it broke 45,000, this is going to shoot straight up, all right? But, I follow guys like this other dude, this crypto. Let me give you some resources to further your education. Let me go to YouTube quick and just let me show you some people I follow. All right, so over here, okay, Elio Trades. He's a really good follow. You want to write down his name, Elio Trades. He's really, really good. He explains things dumbed down, very, very simple to understand. You can like he explains it as he's talking to like a 12-year-old. All right, and he does it really, really good and gives you his strategies, things to go through. Okay, over here, dude, December. I don't even know how this video came up. Dude, December, 7 crypto coins that will 20x early in 2024. Becca's definitely great to follow. If I go to what's the other dude right over here? Okay, Crypto. This guy's a serious guy. He owns his own exchange and he makes these videos off his iPhone. He's a crypto millionaire. He has positions out there that are worth multiple millions of dollars, like long positions, short positions. He's constantly updating his people. It's just something, he's someone to follow. So these 3 people alone, Elio Trades, Becker, and this dude, you don't really need too many people. Okay, these guys right here just know the market. And I'm learning a lot of strategies to make a lot of money, or recoup my loss of investment, because what I did is I played into risky things like farms, all right, and staking farms with very high risk, and I lost like in one day I was just shot to 38,000. I got like greedy. I was gonna hold it, and the next day I fell asleep. The next day it was at $12,000. I lost a lot of money on that. Okay, on that trade. But like things like that do happen, but you shouldn't be playing with money you don't have to play with, right? You know what I'm saying, if you play with money you don't have to play with, it's like almost going to a casino. So to keep it conservative, you don't want to be in that situation where you feel like you're at a casino. So what happens is that you may be able to get, 6% gain here. So this is a 7-day period. So if you would have put your money in on Monday and waited 7 days, this went up to 6%. If we want to click this, all right, you can actually go down. You can see some of these gains are ridiculous too. You'll find like a BitTorrent, 185% gain, Bonk, 99% gain, 63% gain. Look at these charts. They're all looking bullish. They're all looking like retarded. But it's hard because if you don't understand the project, you don't really want to get into it. Like I don't even know. I know what BitTorrent is. Bonk, I have no idea what Bonk is. No idea. All right. And I can look at the volume. It's $168 million in 24 hours. Okay. The market cap is, so almost $1 billion. All right. And let's go look at the chart over here. Okay. We'll see that. Let's go look in a month and see what it's doing. So if you would have gotten here, look at this. Now this jumped up over here, which is that ridiculous gain that you've seen. But it's hard to, it's 314 in 1 month, 314% gain. It's hard to catch these. It's hard. Okay, you had to be over here to make a lot of money with this. All right, so be careful when you just get into these projects and just start dumping money around. That's called gambling. The more smarter way to do it is you really want to come into your categories. So you click the categories, and two of the categories I'm focusing on, okay, is gaming and AI. So let's look for the gaming. Let's go over here. Let's just type in find gaming. All right, so let me open this up. Okay, so this gaming tab, you can see that in 7 days, all these are starting to look for the upside. Beam is one I'm particularly looking at right now. All right, so I know what Beam is. It's an infrastructure play. It got changed, okay, from MC, which is the merit token, and it changed to Beam. And if you look in a 1 month period, it's just been shooting up and shooting up and shooting up, and it's still under a penny, 147% in 1 month. And so it's a slow growth coin that's growing and growing and growing that you can still get in for under a penny. So I'm going to dump some money into this. Now, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you go do what I'm doing, but I'm looking for these small projects. So Beam, if you want to look at the market cap, all right, the market cap over here, let's see where it is 815 million. All right, so if you look at it, it's probably like a mid cap. All right, so in the form of a whiteboard where I was showing you before, wherever that went, down my whiteboard went. Okay, you're looking over here as Beam is in the transition of a son to a dad. It's like somewhere in between right here. That's where Beam is. You want to find these projects. You're not late to, and they got a steady growth. And if you look over here and you want to look at it a little bit more, we can come to a 1 year and see what it was doing. So as you see, over 2021, 2023, I'm sorry, it was growing and growing and growing and growing. It just hasn't stopped. And we're still in pre-bull. Now, I can't explain how we are in pre-bull and what metrics you look at to know that we're in a bull or pre-bull. But I can tell you from experience that if you see a healthy chart constantly going up and up and down, but all on the upside over a year, and if you looked in 7 days, it's doing the same thing, and you look in a 1 day and it's very, very healthy trading, this is healthy trading, okay, what you see here. And there's a lot of upsides. There's only a few downs with a lot of upsides. All right, you can get nitty gritty and go into trading view and look at a 2-hour chart. You can look at a 4-hour chart. You can look at a 15-minute chart on Beam, and you'll see, something called the MACD, which is like, let's see if I can just open this with Trading View here. So this is Trading View. This is a desktop application. Right now on the 1 hour, we can go in a little bit, okay, and we can see something. All right, so this is a 1 hour. I like to look at the 4 hours. So I'll come over to 4 hours. All right, and every candle wick is 4 hours. That's what these are. At first, I didn't understand that. I thought the whole chart was 4 hours. It's not. Every wick is 4 hours. All right, so you could see that. You look at this and you're like, all right, well, Ricky, what do I do here? It doesn't tell me where to get in, where to get out. So what I do here is I come over here and I go to the functions, all right, and I type in MACD. All right, now that's called the moving average conversion divergence, right? Say that 3 times fast. So if you look at this right here, where you can see the blue is the good, the red is kind of the bad. So the red is like going down to the downside. So what you're looking for is a cross. Okay, so you see this over here? This means that if you come to the chart and you were on this 4 hours, you would see that they're about to cross. That means that you're going to the downside on a 4 hour chart. So you would probably try to exit your position there. Okay, again, not financial advice. I'm still not an expert at this. I still fuck around and lose money, but I'm going to become an expert, right? So basically over here, you could see that if you came to this point where this was the 4 hour, okay, you can see that this was about to cross. That's usually where you enter the position and you ride that position, okay? But look, I mean, if you're playing with $100, you're not going to make a lot of money doing this. Okay, you have to play with bigger money to do this, so just be careful. But what Chris is teaching in his course, I'm going a little off topic, but what Chris is talking about is like the long-term strategies. So, like, what's the long-term strategies for me? I'm going to use Elephant Money to make that money in BNB, take that out and put it into the large caps or put it into the mid caps. So, for instance, I'll take my money that I'm making in Elephant Futures or any kind of trading that I do, and I'll come over here and I'll go right back to the homepage. I'll show you what I'm dumping into. I'll be dumping into Solana. It's the 6th most biggest coin. It's slowly on the uprise, okay, as it goes. So if you go, I'll just show you the chart quick. If you go into Solana, okay, you can see that one day it looks kind of grim, but if you look at 1 month, it's constantly, being traded very healthy, and it's constantly on the uprise. Okay, so that's $69. So even if you put it in here, it's not going to move like 100x, 200x, but you're going to be safe. You're going to be building your money with that. Another one I'm putting into is Ethereum, and of course some bit here and there, right? But I like Ethereum and Solana as my top, putting my money in, my profits in to grow. And then if then you want to like do some research, go to Coin Market Cap, go to the categories, look for stuff like AI. All right, there's another one. Am I in? Did you lose me, or am I still in?
Nope, still here.
I'm still, all right, cool. Let me go down.
Is there an AI category even?
Yeah, there's an AI category here. AI and big data right here. Boom.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Let me go down. Okay, so top
I think
AI
is going to be big.
Totals.
It's just a
It's
tip
going
for
to
you.
be. It is. And I can't take credit for these categories. This is something that Elio's been watching, Beck has been watching, and then Crypto's been watching. And it really put me on to start understanding these projects and understanding what's going on, because gaming is something that people always do. Some of these games have gambling, like D-Race is a horse gambling kind of system. You can buy horses, you can win races. People are always going to be attracted to that, making their money in coins and stuff like that. So you want to get in as they're low and ride the wave. And another thing you want to look for is infrastructure plays. You want to look at companies that are revolution AI technology, but have a blockchain built into it. And I can't say that I understand everything, but like one company I'm looking at over here is Render. All right. And you can go over here and you can see their markets, right? And you can see where you can buy it. You can buy it on Binance, you can buy it on Coinbase, you can buy it on Kraken, you can buy it on KuCoin. So you can see where you can get it, where it's available. And you can also go over here to the news and see what people are talking about, all the market data. And they have this in TradeView as well. So you can go through that. And then you can go to About, and then you can go click onto the links and go to their .com. All right. And you can start understanding, like, read their white paper, read their team and investors, see, their community. If they got a raving community, people on Twitter or people on Telegram, and they're like popping off, Render's going to go to the moon and I support the project. The project is going to do freaking well. You may want to throw $100, $200 into it. Okay. Come over here. Right. And say that's your profit from Elephant Futures that Chris is telling you how to get the money with. Take that and put it into a project like this. Because if we go back to the chart, we can see, let's go over a 1 month period. It's a healthy trading chart on the uprise. Okay. Over here in November, just alone in November, okay, it was at $2. It's already at $3, 53% in 1 month. Let's look at 1 year. Okay. 1 year, if you would have got over here at below a penny, you would have made a healthy amount of money if you put $1,000 in. All right. So you got to look for these gems. And it's easy to go follow these crypto guys and say, oh, I'm going to buy Sol. I'm going to buy Beam. I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy that. I'm going to buy Render. I'm going to buy Immutable X. I'm going to buy this. No, I follow these guys because yes, they'll tell you some of the projects they get into, but they're giving you an overall strategy. You need to learn the strategy of how to make money with crypto. That's how you become a crypto millionaire, is understanding the actual strategy of it. Like in Chris's course, he gives you 3 different strategies, okay, how to make money with elephant futures. Even in the calculator, there's 3 different strategies and compounding where you can actually take a salary out, put it in your pocket or putting it into the market, all right, or even stocks and stuff like that, and still be able to grow on the upside, which Chris was talking about before. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of that. I'll make some subsequent videos if Chris allows me on this type of stuff so that you guys can have this. I mean, you get the recording of this anyway. I've done a lot of training on crypto. I understand it really, really good. And the more and more that you focus on one strategy, particularly this strategy right here, wherever my whiteboard went, okay, this strategy where you have a grandfather, which is the large caps, you have the dads, which is a mid cap, you have the sons, which is a micro cap, and then you got the baby movers. Because if a son is moving to a dad, like I told you, Beam is on the way to becoming a mid cap, right? Well, there's definitely a mover coming into his son. And that's where you find these bottoms that are going to go to the freaking moon. But you got to be on the lookout for these things and spend some time in it. So, I mean, maybe you get up early in the morning and you spend an hour on research. And I tell people with e-commerce, I tell people with media buying, I tell people with any endeavor you do in business, 80% is research, 20% is action. So if I research a company for 80% of my time and then decide to invest into it, what is it for me to take money, put it into a BNB coin, pancake swap it, Ethereum swap it over for Beam? What does that take me? 20 minutes? But if you're randomly just shooting, bullets through the forest and saying, oh, this coin looks good, this coin looks good, this coin looks good, you're going to have 50 coins in your wallet. You're not going to know what project is doing well. You're going to be all over the place. You're not going to be in a specific niche. You may be in AI. You may be in gaming. You may be in gambling. You may be in all these other categories, entertainment. You may be in all these different categories. You humanly can't follow this. It's almost impossible to follow this, all right? So I wouldn't suggest anybody do that. Pick a niche, get very good at the category. This is one strategy you can follow. Understand the differences between large, mid, and micro caps, and then look for projects that have similarities of a micro, of a mid, of a grandfather. And then look at those strategies. I mean, look at those caps moving. You're going to find a baby that's starting to move. That's where the money's being made. All right. So I just wanted to give you that promise. So Chris, I'll give it back to you for a minute. I'm gonna shut my screen off, but I hope that everybody appreciates that.
I think it's fair to say that Ricky's pretty passionate about this subject matter.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm passionate about it because I mean, this was about 2019, 4 years now. I've been diving into this stuff.
So let me just quickly tie this up because everything Ricky said there is absolutely true. However, I just want to kind of, if you like, reset, because it is very easy to feel overwhelmed and like, gosh, there's so many things that we could do. So just kind of shifting gears and coming back to futures, that's why my advice would be everything Ricky said there absolutely can work. Looking for the micro caps before they become the big caps is a great strategy. But well, it's not really a but you might not want to be. In fact, I personally don't want to be. I'm not a trader. I don't count myself as a trader. I don't want to be a trader. Nothing wrong with that. Let me be clear. But I would much rather have something that's kind of quite simple, that's earning 15% a month, 0.5% a day, that is, my favorite word, sustainable. And therefore, what this does is it just takes all the stress and the pressure away, because it's very easy, as I'm sure you felt. I certainly felt this when I started in this business, to suffer from FOMO, particularly when things are going up. There's over 100,000 cryptocurrencies. It's going to drive you insane if you try and learn everything about everyone. You are just going to become, so stressed and anxious. So my advice would be, let's just do one thing and do it well and understand it and enjoy it. It's so much more fun making money when we understand what we are doing. And so absolutely nothing wrong with looking for micro caps, let me be clear. And it can do, very, very well. And nothing wrong with that one little bit. And if you want to branch into that with the profits that you make from futures, great. But my advice would be, let's just focus on getting you really dialed in with futures. So you're making 0.5% a day, 15% a month. I mean, you're not going to find anything out there. It's kind of it's not okay. You're not going to do like 100% a month and stuff, but I'm a little more conservative. I'd much rather do 15% a month, knowing that that's month in, month out. And of course, that's exactly what we teach. Anyway, so right, let's go through some of the questions here. So I've actually been answering a lot of them while we've been talking. So hopefully you've seen some of the answers. So Mark, I've answered your question here as well. Tamar saying, what will happen to futures in the bear market? Well, Tamar, it will still continue. It's 0.5% a day. You might like to know, when it comes to sustainability, there's a whole separate course within DeFi Profits Made Simple where I really do break down the sustainability. In fact, let me quickly share one thing with you that you might find interesting. I'm just going to quickly share my screen here when it comes to sustainability. And where is it? Here. Let me show you this here. So we're looking at elephant money futures again. And can you see this kind of this dark brown, this black window here that says daily liabilities? This is essentially saying, well, let's focus. What is this saying? I've clicked on the futures area at Elephant Money, and we're presented with lots of metrics. I am aware that that can be a little bit overwhelming at first, but I'm just going to share two with you right now that you might find interesting. Firstly, daily liabilities. This means as follows: if everybody in futures, you, me, everybody decided today, I'm going to claim everything that I'm owed, everything that's in our available, and we all did it at once, which is never going to happen because most of us are wanting to accumulate. But worst case scenario, if that did happen, this is how much the elephant money ecosystem has to pay out. In other words, its obligations, how much it has to pay to us, the futures holders, $163,000 in one day if everybody cashed out that's in futures at once. Again, it's never going to happen, but it's good to know that if that did happen, $163,000 is how much elephant money as the protocol would have to pay out to you and I. Now, why am I mentioning that? Because if we look slightly below here, and I appreciate I'm getting a tiny bit in the weeds, just give me 60 seconds here. Below here, this is probably the most important metric of the entire elephant ecosystem. It's the treasury. A bank on the high street has a treasury. Basically, it's its balance sheet. And a good treasury will measure the inflows versus the outflows, as indeed any good business should. You know, how much are you bringing in versus how much are you spending? And as we can see here, it's a little bit small, actually, admittedly, but you can always see this yourself if you go to the futures page at Elephant Money. It says the Elephant Treasury currently right now, it's actually down a little bit, is almost $65 million. So the Treasury is worth $65 million right now. And going back to the daily liabilities, now that we understand what the daily liabilities means, it means if everybody decided to cash out in their futures, essentially what they are owed, it would have to pay out 163,000. Does that give you a slight bit of confidence straight away at the genius of this ecosystem? It wouldn't even make a dent on the treasury to pay out everything that is owed. And as I say, that's never going to happen. None of us are thinking, certainly not collectively, we're going to withdraw everything. But even if that did happen, the liabilities here are, it's actually 0.25%. So it's tiny compared to the elephant treasury. I'm actually writing an article breaking this down a little bit more, where I'll go through it in more detail. But I just want you to feel confident. This really comes down to the sustainability. One other thing on that note of sustainability, I keep going on about this, but inside, we're looking at the members area here. So here we are when you log in, and let's click on DeFi Profits Made Simple. There's a course here that you might not have gone through. It's actually after teaching about elephant money, but there's another course I created called Elephant Money, how it works and how is it sustainable. It's actually about 30 videos in here. So I go through in a lot of detail this exact subject matter. You know, how is this decentralized protocol? How can it pay the 0.5% a day and be sustainable and continually grow the treasuries we've just mentioned? I'm not going to go through it right now because it's too much information, and also I've already made a course here where all the videos are nice and short and step by step. So I really would encourage you, if you're interested in this subject matter. Some people aren't, to be honest. Some people are like, do you know what? I'm fine with this. I'm going to put 5,000 in, 200 a month, and I'm fine with that. I don't really even care. And that's fine. But there are others that are different. Like, I actually do like to understand how these things work. So this is why I spent 2 years learning this and broken it down in this course. So you might find this interesting as well. I am seeing a few questions about the sustainability. You have access to this. It's in the members area. So hopefully that may help you. Right. Let me quickly go through the questions. So Tamar is asking, how does it generate the money? So Tamar, great question. Essentially, that's what I cover in this course here. But long story short, Elephant Money, anytime anybody buys the Elephant Money token, there's a 10% purchase fee. And anytime anybody sells, there's a 10% selling fee. So if you buy $100 of the Elephant token, so forget futures for a moment, if you're just buying the Elephant token itself, and you spent $100, you'd only get $90 worth, and then $10 worth of it is locked up in the treasury, and the treasury essentially buys back its own tokens off the market. This is a very common strategy in finance. Most businesses have what are known as corporate buybacks. It's totally legal, obviously, where you legally buy back your shares from the market to therefore make less of your shares available on the market, which therefore makes your shares increase in value. There's a bit more to it than that, but that's the general sort of idea. It's never been done on the blockchain until now. So essentially what Elephant Money has built into it is, if you like, a 24/7 buyback. It's known as a smart contract. It's automatically coded when anybody purchases anything, whether you know it or not. So, for example, when you deposit into futures, you may not even know this, but when you put your $200 into futures, that $200, well, actually, if I'm being specific, 90% of that $200 is used instantly. It's your BUSD you put $200 of BUSD in, $180 of that, so 90%, is used instantly to buy Elephant token off the market, and it stores it in the treasury. So it's removing the Elephant token from the market itself. And over time, the protocol is owning more and more of its own tokens, which means, because the price therefore increases, it needs to sell less and less of them to fulfill its obligations in futures. I know it's a little bit to get our head around. I do understand that. It took me 2 years to really be able to even communicate this vaguely intelligently. But please know, Tamar, please know, and I'm not trying to get out of answering your question, that what you've asked, two things. Firstly, there's not a short one-sentence answer. It's probably the most common question I get. How is it sustainable? How can it pay the 0.5% a day? The gist of it is that the assets of Elephant Money greatly outweigh the liabilities, the 0.5% a day. How that actually works, I break down in this exact course that we're looking at right now. So, it's 30 videos.
And just to answer Tamara really quick, there's nothing going to get you out of doing your own research. Go to
I agree,
elephant.money.
Ricky.
Go look at the white paper. Go look at how they make their money. I mean, Chris wouldn't have 50,000 in one account and other accounts, and me putting money in these accounts if I thought this wasn't sustainable. So, I mean,
Absolutely, yeah.
do your own research. But
Yeah.
they do make a lot of money. Okay, so we can't get into the weeds of that right now. We can go through the stuff. That's the answer, Tamara. Letty says, "What does a fortnightly deposit mean?" I'm not sure what that is.
Great question. So all fortnightly deposit means is, quite simply, every 2 weeks you deposit fresh funds into futures if you want to. You don't have to. It's very flexible. You can do it as little or as often as you like. At the moment, I'm depositing $200 in every week. So, that's a little bit of a financial commitment, $800 a month. But I see the power of this. I understand decentralized finance, and I understand if I do that for a year and a half, committing $800 a month, my balance is going to be $250,000 within 18 months from now, having put in, I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but I understand it. I see the returns. I've got, in fact, there's some in Ricky's community here that are putting 100,000 in straight away because they understand that decentralized finance is the first time ever in our lifetime we've got genuine competition to centralized finance. Again, Elon Musk, I mentioned this earlier, he recently tweeted about the fact that it doesn't make sense to have your money in a bank account that's paying you less than 1% a year. And he said he calls it a depositor flight, meaning there's a huge exodus from centralized finance to alternatives because we're all waking up. It's taken a while, took me a while, but it really started again with a financial crash, which was caused by greed, and it just didn't serve you and I. And it's like we are slowly waking up as a species that centralized traditional finance only serves the elite. They don't
Yeah.
care about you and I. They don't, they're happy to give you the 0.4% a year. And incidentally, they're making a ton more money with your money that they are then lending out for loans and mortgages. Are
Yep.
you getting any of that?
No,
Absolutely
hell
not.
no. It's
Absolutely.
annoying.
And this is why, I mean, this is the tip of the iceberg. This is why decentralized finance is so exciting because it actually becomes more than just making money. We all get into this space because we think, great, we can make a little bit of extra money. But truthfully, you end up becoming a slightly better person, I think, because you realize this is where this is what looking out for fellow humans is all about. You know, we can all do well in this space. The great thing I love about this, Ricky, is this isn't an industry where, you know, somebody has to lose for somebody to benefit. We can
Yeah.
all do well here. The rising tide raises all ships. So it's very exciting.
And I apologize if I got into the weeds a little bit too much with the charts, but the more you get into that and
Not
understand how these particular projects
oh
work, the more sustainable you'll see this is. And and the thing is that yeah, there are projects out there that are very risky. They're high returns, but they're very risky. Okay, then you got the large caps, like I showed you on page one of CoinMarketCap, that's been around for years and they're very sustainable. So you got to do your own research and be careful and don't play with money you don't really have,
yeah.
as in any crypto vendor, endeavor. I mean, okay, any money you don't have, just be careful with. All right, but $200 a month or $200 every single week. If you're running an online business that's profiting right now, then take some of that money and put it into the futures. Just know that you're growing a very sustainable income stream for yourself and your family. And Chris does a very good job of breaking this down in the members area. So you
Thanks,
should
buddy.
be glued to that. Yeah, you did, Chris. Amazing job. So just glue yourself to that, go through it. Chris is constantly updating stuff. He's on top of the
Mm.
markets,
Oh,
and
definitely.
and if you guys want to learn stuff about charts and stuff like that, and how I do some of the riskier trades or the big trades, I'm happy to give you that knowledge. But understand that I'm in a different playing area with some of the stuff than most people are. Most people look at crypto and they're like, "Oh, Bitcoin, Ethereum." There are
That's the
sub
thing, Ricky.
markets.
You've brought a really good subject matter. This subject matter, I mean, we are literally right now talking about one protocol that's part of decentralized finance, and
Yeah,
decentralized finance is a subsection of cryptocurrency. You know, when you were talking about your
exactly.
charts earlier, it's so fascinating learning about micro and baby charts and sun charts, and that's a strategy. But there's so many things. So I often say, pick a lane, get in that lane, get good at that one thing and
Exactly.
try not suffer from FOMO, fear of missing out, and think, oh, hang on, I've heard about this thing, I've heard about that thing, because there's things like staking, there's yield farming, there's hodling, there's decentralized finance. There's so many different ways of making money in this space. I just like to get good at
Yeah.
one or two things, just execute on those well,
There's
and
a whole category in
totally.
CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko just for DeFi. You can go right into DeFi and see all the protocols, okay, and implement the same kind of strategy that I showed in the charts, okay, within that category. But I agree with you, Chris. Stick down one lane. When I started off in crypto, I was all over the place. I didn't understand. I was buying every little small thing, every little old coin, these people's picks, and it was like I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing really, but I learned a valuable lesson from it. And in doing so, you become you these strategies, and that's where you're going to create generational wealth rather than sitting there losing your money and say, "Oh, crypto's a big scam." It's not a big scam.
Oh,
Okay,
it's
there are.
it's absolutely not a scam, and it's interesting. It's a bit like there's a psychological level to this. Most as humans, it's been proven time and time again. As humans, we are not naturally good at adopting new stuff, and it comes back to the caveman days. When we lived in a cave and we heard something outside, like a noise of an animal that we didn't know, we were naturally suspicious and like wanted to kind of defend and were wary. And we're still the same now. Anytime we hear anything new, naturally, most people say it's a con, it's a scam, because that's a deep set defense mode. Look at, I don't know, Look at getting a mobile phone. I remember saying I'm never getting a mobile phone. Look at buying for stuff online. I remember thinking I'm never going to buy stuff online. Here's a good one. Do you remember like buying stuff on your phone? I'm not putting my credit card on my phone to buy stuff. We do it every single day now. And yet we all said, and that's the same with this. It's the same with digital money, digital assets. I'm not going to do that. Well, tell me, why are Congress passing bills? Why are countries opening up blockchain hubs? Why are governments, CEOs, companies, leaders, why are there so many patents that are pending for blockchain technology? Do you really
Yeah,
think this is the next natural wave? It's an evolution in technology and in
it
finance. And
is.
if you,
It's amazing.
if you choose not to get involved, that's fine, but you are going to get left behind. And I often say, Ricky, we can begin to wrap up with this. I'm not saying you put everything into DeFi at all. I am saying, though, you do need to have some exposure to this. Tell me
Yeah,
anything else that's going to get you in a day. Just think about this sentence. You can earn more in a day than you do in your bank in a year. I mean, just think about
I
that
know.
for a
It's
second.
amazing.
You
It's
can earn
amazing.
more in a day with futures. You're getting 0.5% a day in futures. Your bank account is paying you 0.4% a year. Why would you not even put $200 in just to experience this firsthand yourself and look after your family and your kids? Why would you not do that? Again, I'll tell you the answer, because most of us, when there's anything new, we prefer what is familiar, even if it doesn't serve us. It's like why so many people are in relationships that don't serve them. It's because they'd
Mm,
rather be in a relationship than
mm,
not be, because it's the
mm,
unfamiliarity. But we need to, this is why I said earlier, it's more than just making money. This is all about becoming a slightly better version of ourselves, being
mm.
comfortable learning new skills, which most people are not comfortable to do.
Agree with that, Chris. And guys, I just appreciate your business, and I appreciate the trust and respect you got. Chris is a great guy. I've known him since 2010. I've
Yes.
watched him and Mike Filsaime orchestrate a very, very scalable launch. That was affiliate.com.com. I remember that like it was yesterday. And yeah, so Chris knows what he's doing, and he really is passionate about helping people. You can see in the community. Be active in the community. If you have any questions for me, you can always email me elrickymataka@gmail.com. I've given my email out a million times. So if you have any questions for me, I'm definitely down to help. So Chris, I want to thank you for being on today. I appreciate it, and I'll get you the recording of this. I
Thanks,
don't know where
Ricky.
you want to host it, but I'll get you the recording. And if I'll maybe make a poll. I'll talk to Chris about it. Chris, I'll talk to you privately about this. If people have some interest for the stuff that I was teaching, maybe I'll do a
Yes.
module on it. Just let me know.
Well, guys, I really appreciate everybody's time. A quick couple of final other questions. Tamar saying most of my friends think crypto is a scam, especially because of the bear market. Yeah, it's easy to think that, isn't it? I mean, history is riddled with stories like that. Bill Lear was laughed at when he said he wanted to create a jet. Ted Turner was laughed at when he said, I'm thinking of doing a 24-hour news channel. Henry T. Ford, famously said, if I listened to what people wanted, I would have invented a faster horse. They laughed at Columbus when he said the world wasn't flat. History's got so many examples of new innovations where people, as we've just discussed, people's natural reaction is, oh no, because it's easier for somebody to say that because people don't often
Yeah.
think, they don't think smartly. It's like when you're a kid, you're asked, do you like broccoli? You go, oh, I hate broccoli. And it's like, well, have you ever had it? No, exactly. So that's the difference. People will naturally say, "Oh, it's a con, it's a scam." Really, have you actually explored the utility that it's bringing? Have you actually looked at
Exactly.
blockchain technology? Have you seen how blockchain technology is helping the medical field, governments, logistics, shipping around the world? No, of course you haven't. You're just spouting something on a deep set level that makes you feel good about not getting involved in this space because in your world you think, oh, it's a con, it's a scam. Well, look at the market cap, 1.7 trillion from nothing 15 years ago. Nothing's ever grown like that. So, it's
Amazing.
easy for people to say that. I would just say, wish them well, send them love, and just show them your bank balance in 2 years from now.
And last thing I want to say is that do your own research, because the better you get at research, any market you get into, the more money you will make. You understand the terminology, the lingo, the communities, where people are at, what they're innovating. This holds true for e-commerce, affiliate marketing, cryptocurrencies, the stock market, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Get better at research. The more better you're at research, the more money you're gonna make. I just want to leave that off with that.
Well, Ricky, I really appreciate the invitation and Please, if anyone here has a question, you can either reach out to Ricky or, of course, ask it in the Facebook community. Everybody here is a member of the Facebook community. If you haven't yet joined, that's all explained in DeFi Profits Made Simple. I'm absolutely happy to help, at any time with any questions that you have. But we're all going to make it, and it's an exciting space. So I appreciate you inviting me for this, Ricky. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for everyone being on today. I'm sure we'll see you on more trainings. Have a good night, evening, afternoon, wherever you're from. And God bless everybody and have a very Merry Christmas. I will see you on more trainings. Take care,
Thanks,
guys.
buddy. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.